International Society for Natural Products. We warmly welcome our eminent guest today, Dr. Himanshu Talwar. And I warmly welcome you, sir, on behalf of
Thank you,
Honorable
ma'am.
Founder President, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, our Chancellor, Dr. Atul Chauhan, our Vice Chancellor, ma'am, Dr. Balvinder Shukla, ma'am, and all the scientific fraternity and forum. As you will be addressing, sir will be Dr. Himanshu Talwar will be speaking about on health management and also on experiential learning. So before I request Dr. Himanshu Talwar to give his presentation for all of us, I would just like to give his brief introduction. Dr. Himanshu Talwar is a winner of recipient of Man of Excellence Award 2019 for social work, and he has got 6 national awards for leadership, entrepreneurship, and significant contribution towards management, legal, and vocational education. Dr. Himanshu Talwar, for more than a decade, has been working for international organizations, facilitating people to people contacts and conducting training workshops for professionals on international relations, strategic management, cross cultural and corporate communication, business and corporate laws, entrepreneurship, etc. During his corporate journey, he has worked for Government of Japan, Poland, UAE, El Salvador, and trained nationals of East Asia, Europe, Middle East, Latin America, and top executives of MNCs across the world. He attended Executive Management Program at said Business School, University of Oxford, IIM Calcutta, and IIM Bangalore. An avid speaker, he spoke at two TEDx events in India and TEDx International events in Morocco, Tunisia, and has addressed various national and international conferences and seminars. He, on a regular basis, writes articles for magazines, research papers for national and international journals, and has many case studies published in India and abroad to his credit. I warmly welcome Dr. Himanshu Talwar, and I request you, sir, to begin your presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your kind words. And thank you for the introduction. I would like to first of all thank the Amity University, directors, owners, Chauhan family, everyone. I have had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Chauhan and few of his family members long time back. So it is always a pleasure to be on this platform as in speaking to the students of Amity University.
Okay.
I've worked closely with the management college and law college of Amity University in last 5-6 years, as in delivered some lectures and in regular touch with some of the faculty members. So indeed, a great opportunity. Well, I would like to begin now. I'm sure students can hear me. Audio and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
video is very
Yes.
clear. Okay. So, students, I know you are going through a tough time because this is especially for millennials. This is the first time they are going through such kind of a hassle or trouble. People born in 50s, 60s, 70s are very well aware of the challenges, as in the lockdowns and the curfews and everything, because they have seen wars, they have seen different kind of situations. But millennials, say people starting from 90s to 2000, this is their first time. So first of all, don't panic, don't worry. This is just a phase, and it will pass, right? And the best thing when I was approached by Dr. Kirkwal that we want you, I mean, Dr. Kirkwal said that Himanshu, please address. Then I thought the best time, as in right now, to address students is to cover something which can be helpful in the sense that retrospectively pick up in the sense that you learn from the past and you come up once this phase gets over, this COVID thing gets over, you come up with a fresh start. A fresh start should not be from zero, but say from if I say ranking wise, pointers wise, out of 10, we should minimum start from 5. Minimum that okay, we are ready to face the word, we are ready to face this economic downturn and everything. Now, experiential learning. It's a very interesting topic, students. See, experiential learning, obviously, I'll take you through the structured definition and pros and cons and everything. But let me be very frank and honest with you that, like for instance, experiential learning, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Because like for you guys, this is your first experience. From next time onwards, you'll be ready. Right. So right now it is very new to this situation, as I said. So right now, because you have not faced any such challenge, it is something which is panicking you and the whole world about the jobs, about your education, about your future. But please, again, I'm saying that don't worry. So it's just a phase, it will pass away. Let me start. Let me begin with small quote. Experience is what happens to a man. It is what a man does with what happens to him. Aldous Huxley. So whatever you are experiencing, if you'll take it as a negative, if you'll pick up the negative side of it, it will be very difficult for you to, work, survive, and do all that stuff. But if you take the positive side of it, that okay, people leave jobs. People leave jobs, they take risks these days. A lot of you wants to become entrepreneurs. So you are working and you say that, okay, I have some savings. I'll probably quit for a year. I'll take the risk. I'll start something of my own. Take it like that. Just take it like that. It's a phase that, okay, God has given you this opportunity to sit and relax at home and read as much as you can, develop, come up with some new innovative ideas. What's there at the back of your mind, so-called your subconscious mind, bring it in the front, put it on paper, and see how you can execute it. Because it is what a man does with what happens to him. Now, whatever you are facing, try to convert this so-called negativity into positivity and come up with something new. Because this is the right opportunity for all of you, that okay, you face this, these things might repeat, might not repeat. You never know. But this is the right time, right opportunity for you, that you put this all these things on paper, put your ideas on paper, sit, discuss. You have the technology, you are connected, everything is there, except that you can't go out. Other than that, you're very well connected, very, very well connected. So discuss your ideas. Again, I'm saying bring it on paper, and plan something that how to execute it in a phase-wise manner. Now, okay. So now let me just give you a brief background, like the worst epidemics and pandemics in history. I'm sure these days this everything is circulated around. Everyone is aware that okay, these are the challenges which people are facing, and these are some of the events which had happened in the past. Now, as I said, this is not new. This pandemic and epidemics, people who are aware, who have the knowledge of, who have seen this in the past, they are okay because they know something of that sort had happened in the past also. Now, for instance, Zika was something, Ebola, H1N1, swine flu, plague, Russian plague, Philadelphia, American polio, everything. See, the one common point here, which government, these guys, they have been sort of communicated from, say, like 100, 200, 300 years, is the hygiene factor. Hygiene is the most important thing. We must take care of the hygiene. Now, what happens is that even today, government is saying that do this, do these, take these measures, which are all related to hygiene. There's nothing else. Most of these people, most of these NGOs, social workers, doctors, everyone is relating this to the hygiene, nothing else. All these polios, all these swine flu, Asian flus, people were told that you follow the hygiene, you follow these measures. But unfortunately, a lot of people are not following that, and henceforth, there are challenges. Challenges they are facing, that yes, this COVID thing is expanding. It's expanding in the sense that it is, more and more people are getting affected, which is a worrisome part. That these things had happened in the past, millions of people have already died, and government ever since, or even families and people have been telling each other to follow the hygiene, but unfortunately a lot of people don't. So remember this, that wherever you go, and from now on, now that you've experienced this, at least you are experiencing this, pandemic, so-called, now it has turned into a pandemic, that hygiene is the most important thing. A lot of people used to carry sanitizers with them, or wet tissues and a lot of other things. But like last 5, 7, 10 years, people who used to carry, some people used to say that, okay, this guy is, extra, doing something extra always, that he's always, finicky, in the sense that he's always hygiene kind of a guy, that why why that. But now they have realized, they've understood that what are the challenges if you don't follow this hygiene factor. And Word has faced this in the past. So you have to keep this in your mind, that hygiene is the most important thing. Now, from hygiene, let me take you to the experiential side of it. See, students, please be aware that experiential learning experience requires qualities such as self-initiative and self-evaluation. Very simple, very, very simple. Now, put it in terms of COVID, or put it in terms of your career, or put it in terms of your education, or put it in terms of your personal and professional life. Self-initiative is required, and that is what experiential learning, how it takes place. And as long as you are a self-initiator, you are good to go. Apart from that, or I would say in addition to that, the most important thing is that self-initiative is good, but self-evaluation is also very important. What happens is that we do a lot of things. For instance, if you're asked to write a paper or a case study or anything, what you do is that you take the self-initiative, you finish it, and most of the time what happens is that you don't self-evaluate it. That is it really up to the standards or your standards, like the last paper, for instance, you have written, or the kind of inputs you have received from your faculty or from your mentors, that you have this flair of doing things, you are good at it. But just because you are not self-evaluating that, okay, it can be further improved, or you have not kept the timelines in mind, for instance, even if you've done a good work, sometimes you don't get that kind of recognition which is very much required. And that's the problem. Now, here you bring in the experiential learning experience. That if you have experienced something, just take note of that and follow that. You have taken initiative, very good. Now, evaluate that also. You should have your own parameters to evaluate it. Let your mentor, teachers, your bosses, everyone do their thing, but you should evaluate by yourself, by revisiting the same thing. Just because you have finished something, that doesn't mean that you have delivered the best. You can always revisit that and self-evaluate that. And once your self-evaluation is done, you're good to go. Then leave it into the hands of experts. Let them come back with their inputs, and you can further improve it. Now, in order to experiential learning to be truly effective, it should employ the whole learning wheel. Like for instance, like I said, like last slide, as I said, like this is the first time you are going through such kind of a thing. Now, if you set some goals right now, today, that once this COVID thing gets over, so say for instance, 3 months, after 3 months, I will do this. After 3 months, I'll experiment this. After 3 months, I'll observe, I'll review, and I'll finally action my planning. So this is the right time. This opportunity is lying with you. Understand the value and importance of experiential learning. Now, experiential learning, let me clarify this here. It is not a management concept. It is not a legal concept. It is not a typical medical concept. It is something which is a psychological, a psychiatric concept. That how you think, how you execute, how you implement, how strong your mind is, how strongly you control yourself and people, or say instances, things happening around you. If you are taking an initiative, if you are evaluating that, and then you're executing that, then obviously the results will be on the positive side. So again, the whole learning wheel should be followed if it is related to experiential learning. You set a goal for yourself. Say next year, I'll start something of my own. Or next year, I'll crack the, say, CAT exam. Or next year, if I'm a school student, I'll crack the engineering IIT or medical exam. Or next year, I'll do this. Or perhaps, whatever comes to your mind, you're free right now. What you can utilize this by simply following the basic principles of experiential learning. You don't need to become a psychiatrist to understand, or study psychology to understand experiential learning. And that's exactly what I'm going to do in next 45 minutes. And I'm going to take you through the whole process. When I decided to speak on this topic, and Dr. Kirkwal told me that students are from different background. There are management, engineering, law, different background students will be joining. So I thought if I'll straight away put it in the sense that okay, I'll take you through the whole experiential learning thing, that you might miss a lot of things. So I have tried my best here to connect it to different topics, and sum up in a way that you should have some good takeaways in the end. That okay, if you're a management student, these are my takeaways. If you're an engineering student, these are my takeaways. And if you're a medical or any other student, then these are my takeaways. Now, the last point here, learning takes place. The complete process allows one to learn new skills, new attitudes, or even internally new ways of thinking. This is going to be a new start for you. As I'm saying, that this new start will help you enhance, increase, or further polish your skills, whatever skills you have. Like these days, when I visit my own social media profile, a lot of students I can see, a lot of students writing to me, sir, give us some idea what to do, what not to do. People these days, they're just simply doing, for instance, they're just following their hobbies. Some people have, all of a sudden, they've become singers. Some people all of a sudden have become writers. Some of them are, making sketch and paintings. So that hidden talent is within you. Now, a lot of people who follow this process, as in they set a goal. So, say for instance, next year, now that I am looking for a job, or I already have a job, but I've lost that job or whatever, but I have this skill and everyone is appreciating me. We are well connected. Now it's an opportunity for you to create a platform for yourself. If it is a new skill, good. New attitude, good. Or an entirely new way of looking at things, and it's excellent. You can change your whole life, your whole lifestyle, everything, whatever you want. But obviously, it will take time. It will take a lot of effort. It will take, you need to be very, very sure what you are planning, how you are going to execute it. And you have mentors, you have your professors, teachers, your parents, your friends available. They're around you. You speak to them regularly. It's just that because perhaps you're not discussing, or you are not using their experience or your experience of executing it, you're somewhere lacking. So let us take a pledge today that using the principles of experiential learning, meeting and interacting and setting a goal and experimenting, reviewing, learning, new attitude, new way of thinking, I will become a new person in next, say, month. I'll revisit, I'll self-evaluate myself, how I dress, how I talk, how I write, what I do during the day. If I'm free, what am I doing? If I'm not free, as in how I'm involved, the kind of, whether I spend a quality time or not, people I spend time with, are they really, helping me grow? These kind of things you can always self-evaluate and revisit, because this is the right time. If you can utilize this time, then you're good to go. You have a very successful future if you can utilize this time. Now, wars in history. A lot of you must be thinking that why am I referring to wars? This is not the right time, or perhaps are we really going through a war or something? See, students, just imagine that okay, there is a war going outside. You cannot move out, right? And this could be like a third world war or whatever you call it. And there have been many wars: World War One, Russian Civil War, Sino-Japanese, two, Korean, Iraq, Iran, Gulf, Congo War. There have been many wars in the past, and these wars, when these wars were happening, everyone thought that because people are fighting, they are not doing anything else. Because the whole world is involved, or the whole country is involved, or the whole fraternity, or the people of town or city is involved and they are fighting, they are not doing anything else. But that's completely wrong. You know, these people, they follow, when it comes to wars, these guys, they follow the experiential learning model. So one is that whatever the war and whatever thing is happening, that's on the other side. Just leave that apart, right? But on the other side, it is an opportunity for people who are technically qualified, engineers, doctors. It's a very nice opportunity when any such event is happening. Why? Because you can read, you can write, you can experiment. Like recently, our Prime Minister announced that doctors, the young doctors, so-called young population, should come up with more innovative ideas, develop some kind of a vaccine for such kind of viruses or bacterial or any other diseases. Now that the technology side of it, look at it. So, for instance, if you're an engineering student, you can always pick up your books, go back, read, read, about those famous scientists who have discovered things. Read about the famous, technological inventions which had happened in the past. These guys were sitting in their laboratories in their homes. They were reading, they were writing research papers, and they developed something, and they discovered something which actually changed the whole world. So why can't we, the country is on a lockdown, why can't we also pick up our own books? We have access to internet, World Wide Web. Why can't we just simply open this internet and just pick up the right research papers, revisit them, read about the people, read about their discoveries, understand what they were doing? And if we are taking it as a war, then you handle the technology side of it. You're not a soldier, right? You're not expected to go out and fight. For instance, you are not a medical practitioner or even a hospitality staff or something that you are expected to go out and serve people, right? You are at your home, but you can contribute something, and that something is your knowledge. Why don't you come back? Why don't you pick up books, read, and why don't you write some good research paper? This is the right time. You have all the time with you. And then, if, for instance, if you can come up with something which can help change the world, then remember, students, whenever we pick up books, be it any books, there are names given for management, Fayol principles, for engineering, Einstein's, for doctors, you know, penicillin's discovery, and a lot of other medicines. I've covered that here. This is all technology. This is all technology. So this is the right time. This is the best time, I would say, that you revisit yourself, you self-evaluate. I am good at it. I can discover something, or I can come up with a research paper, or if I'm an IT guy, I can develop an app which can help students or the patients or the people of India, or I can come up with a new startup idea that after this, post this, what all new industries are expected to grow. If I'm an IT guy, or I'm a mechanical guy, or I'm an automobile engineer, I won't get a job. But then where? Where can I fit in? What can I do? And for that, you have major instances which had happened in the past. And after that, word came up very strongly. Second World War, everyone thought this country had lost, that country had lost, that country had lost the war, that country had. But within a span of 10 years, those countries, they revived in a very, very professional way. They rewritten the whole history, their whole country. They redeveloped the infrastructure. They came up with technology which was not there at all, which people have not even thought of. All these things happened in phases, in wars, during the wars or after the wars. So if we are taking this COVID as a war or whatever, then that means the opportunity is with the tech guys, right? Utilize this opportunity. Don't just think that it's just a phase. It'll pass away. I'll find a job after 3 years, after 1 year, after 6 months, and I'll start working. Let us reinvent yourself. Let us self-evaluate yourself. Now, what I've already discussed, greatest inventions of all time, right? The steam engine in 1700, electric battery, ARPANET, the starting of the internet, transistors, the printing press, the airplane, the electric bulb, steel, refrigerator. If you follow chronologically, if you see, then after every 20, 30, 50 years, some kind of invention or some kind of some new product was available to us, which does not exist at all. You know what? How it all this was available? Because when Word was worried about bread and butter and everything, there were people, there were students, there were learned scientists, they were working day and night. They were researching the whole concept of coming up with something new. And these things, for all these things, they what they did is that they studied what their ancestors or what their predecessors have done. How can they take it forward? And you never know. Maybe you are the one. who will bring a change in the society, will change the entire system. But are you really working on that research part? Do you understand the value of research as a student? That, or you are just going through the books, pass the exams, and find a job. Now, if you are that kind of a student, and if you're looking that, okay, I'll find a job and I'll settle down and everything. Now, imagine recently, day before, I say yesterday, the RBI governor announced that the next year growth chart, the GDP so-called, the growth will be, say, somewhere around 1.2 or 1.3%. Finding a job in that kind of a situation is way too difficult. And the whole, almost every industry is suffering. But, but, please remember, if you utilize this time right now and you develop something, you invent something, give it a shot, not alone, say involve 5-10, form a group of 5-10 students, start with a research paper, start with a new product, something of that sort. If you can come up with something new, which the government, which all the ministries, which the whole world is actually looking at us, the youngest population, we can apply our minds, we can develop something, then you can create history. That's possible, guys. That's possible, students. A lot of us think, no, no, how will I do it? I won't be able to do it. Pick up something. You are a student. You are expected to read and write. Just follow the simply. As an experiential learning model, you are just need to take an initiative and then evaluate it. You can do evaluation by yourself, or you can request someone else, or your mentor, teacher, or experts, or your family members, anyone, that please help me with this. How can I improve this? How can I work on this? All this opportunity, this is the biggest opportunity in your lifetime. You're a millennial, you're in your 20s or even early 20s, or even some who are really young. If you have that kind of inclination, then this is the right time. Is take the initiative and execute it. Everything is possible. Everything is possible. But you need to take this decision right away. Now, for people who are directly or indirectly associated or studying, say, medical or law, let me connect two things here for you guys. If you're a law student and if you're a medical student, or even if you're studying, supporting staff, see, same pattern here also. Smallpox, I'm sure a lot of you must be aware of that. People who are in touch with cows, they were not getting this kind of disease. Scientists realized that, okay, let it connect through the cow smallpox, and that's how we got the vaccine. Then anesthesia, in the germ theory, antiviral drugs, penicillin, accidentally, obviously, and everyone is aware. X-ray, 1895, insulin, immunity therapy, and all these things. Again, I'm taking you back to the basic principle that there were people who decided that, okay, I want to do this. They took the initiative. They never thought that they'll create history or their name will come in the books. I have not used any name here per se. The specific reason is that I'm not here to say that, okay, you can become like that particular scientist or that particular management guy or a law guy or a colonel or a brigadier if you can fight, or a doctor, a famous doctor. What I'm saying is simply that you use the principle of experiential learning and start doing something. These guys, they took the initiative, and that's how they started all this. Organ transplant was started in 1954, right? Measles, mumps, people were dying, and it got licensed 71, and then they started selling. It was introduced to the world, and word actually used it, and they are still thankful to people. And they're thankful to the doctor or to that nurse, say, who's not discovered this medicine, but because she is available to give this medicine to that particular patient, they're very happy. So if not the if you cannot discover, then you can at least be in between. Work hard, become a good doctor, become a good nurse, become a good lawyer. Now, why I referred to law here? See, the Epidemic Disease Act 1897. I'm sure you guys must be aware of that. Recently, our cabinet secretary, Mr. Gaba, he introduced, he said that we'll have to invoke the Epidemic Disease Act of 1897. We'll have to present. And by the way, I'm sure you are aware of that there are few, as per the IPC section 188, if I'm not wrong, it's criminal offense if you don't follow the instructions of the government official under the Epidemic Disease Act. Now, it's 1897. 1877 is like, say, 120 years back. Somebody wrote an epidemic disease act for India, or somebody introduced this in India. Imagine. Somebody was aware at that time that it's a huge population, and if any such epidemic will break out here or a pandemic will break out here, people will die. Their number will go in millions. That's exactly what had happened in 1918 when this so-called Spanish flu. By the way, Spanish flu is not from Spain, but yes, still they call it Spanish flu. It broke out in India, and people in millions died. So, as a law student, imagine if you've studied law and if you're aware about the Epidemic Disease Act, you can do wonders. You can fight, you can stand, you can take a stand. For instance, if you are living in your colony, if you are living in your within your vicinity, people, if you can tell people that yes, there is one act, such act exists, and you might get jailed or you might get fined because there are criminal provisions there as per IPC. If you can educate people about this, at least out of 100, say 10, 20, 50 will follow the law. Now that's your contribution, the legal contribution. And it is again based on what? Experiential learning. Somebody in 80s, 1880, 100, 1880, 1850, 1860, whatever year, somebody realized this, somebody read this, that from last 300-400 years, some people have been dying across the globe and in India. Now, if we make this a law and if we implement this, execute it, if we bring it within the constitution, the framework of the country, then people out of 100, at least 20, 30, 40 will follow the law. So you understand, as a law student, how can you change the whole system? Just one self-initiative. Pick up the Epidemic Disease Act. Obviously, anyone can read it, but I'm referring to law students here. That pick up the Disease Act, read it, go through it, and spread a word around. That's your contribution. That's it. You're not expected to fight case for somebody or go and help taking a bail for somebody. That's again possible. But what I'm referring to is that preventive measure. As a preventive measure, as a law student, this is how you can contribute. So please don't limit or restrict it, experiential learning to only psychiatry. Like I mentioned in the beginning, experiential learning is useful for management students, for law students, for engineers, for doctors, for war veterans, for everyone, for the whole world. And it is up to you how you implement it, how you execute it, how you use it. If you really understand the value of experiential, a lot of people, a lot of law students I've interacted with. Recently, I've spoken at a conference. There, I asked some people, and they've not even read it. But then, when I introduced, they read it, and they were amazed and shocked, parallelly, that an Epidemic Disease Act exists, which they have also studied, but they never studied it thoroughly. They thought that who will use this, whether it will come into use or not. And now, after 3 to 6 months, when we'll pass this phase, a lot of lawyers, legal professionals will be required to defend, to support, to act, and to support this act, to implement this act. It could be through any medium. It could be government, private, NGO, or your law firm. But yes, you guys are required. So you must have a clear understanding of this act. So again, one is the medical side of it. If you're at home, you can do research. You can have that access. If not, then at least read those research papers. You have internet access. You spend half of your day. Indians spend half of their day on mobile phones, on devices, on internet. Then let us do something which can bring in a change in the society, in India, in the whole world. As a law student, refer to this act, study this thoroughly, and try to introduce this to the people that yes, there is a law exists, and please, please, please don't break the law. If you're breaking the law, then you might face consequences. Tell me, I'll forget. Show me, and I may remember. Involve me, and I will understand. Confucius. Confucius, I'm sure all of you must be aware of. Chinese scholar. Just quote unquote, involve me and I'll understand. Yes, we are all involved now. So that's the harsh reality of the experiential learning, that once you're involved, then only you understand. But there are people who have learned lessons, who don't involve themselves, but if you can learn from the experiential learning model that someone did this and he experienced this and the result of this is this, then you don't need to involve yourself to that extent. You can always take a back and then you can move out. But in order to understand, if you don't, as in you understand, you are involved, and then only you understand the pros and cons of the experiential learning. Now, there's this one very famous psychiatrist, you call it, David Cole. David Cole written a theory which is obviously available on YouTube, or the research papers are available. Everything is there. So I am now here trying to connect management students with the David Cole's theory. Now, for management students, please remember that it's a four-step process David Kolb shared. He identifies the steps as watching, thinking, feeling, and doing. Now, when I was working on this presentation, I thought that's exactly what we do when we use the e-commerce platforms. We watch, we click on we visit a website, we spend some time there, then we think. It could be budget, it could be product, it could whether it be useful for me or not, or anything. Then we feel that if I have this product, what can I do? How can I use it? Whether it will be useful for me or not. And then doing is that you execute it, that okay, you order, or you buy, or you don't buy. Now, this is again my interpretation. I'm not saying that it applies to everyone, and David Kolb, or if David Kolb follower will listen to this, he might be happy or not. But yes, this is my interpretation of when I was going through it, that I thought how it can be related to management students is the e-commerce principles. That's exactly what we do when we follow the e-commerce model, when we do any shopping, purchase, or anything. So, using your experience, these e-commerce websites, what they do, that they study your experience, as in how much time you have spent, kind of products you like, kind of budget you have, your colors, favorite colors, or your requirements and everything. So they have a database maintained at the back end. So next time when you visit, you flash those products, say as an offer or whatever. So you might be searching for something else. So last time you bought a pen, this time you want to buy a handkerchief, or you want to buy a mobile phone or something. But because last time you bought a pen, it will give you options of say 5, 7, 10 pens, or say watch. It will give you a watch. It will flash on right or left side of your screen, saying that this offer is there, this offer is there. Because they know from their experience that you like watches. From their experience, they know that you bought pen and you like pens. So even if you don't want to buy, using the simple experiential learning model from their end, they can gauge that this is what your requirement is, and they'll sell you that. And it happens. It happens a lot. You can always self-evaluate yourself. Last 5 times, do one thing, do a small exercise once the session gets over, that from, record next 5 purchase of yours online. So what all products you visited, whatever you bought, whatever you decided not to, what was your budget and everything. Obviously, the students, the IT guys, they understand this very well, that the promotions take place, the hashtags are there, the keywords are there. There are a lot of people, management side I'm referring to, that their way of looking at things is entirely different. For an IT guy, they understand very well that how this selling takes place, the kind of analysts which are sitting at the back end, how they analyze your behavior, and how they understand from your experience what exactly you're looking at. But as a management guy, again, a big opportunity is there. IT will do a job which you will ask them to do. As a management student, it's a big opportunity for you guys. Imagine after 3 to 6 months, you know, again, take a self initiative, set up a goal, and think that after 6 months, what all products will be like the hot cake, the most saleable products after 6 months. Just think, just put it on paper, sit, discuss, do conference calls, sit with your professors, teachers, within your friend circle, and say follow what the household things. As simple as that. What your mother wants, what your father wants, the kind of purchase you do. As a management student, the biggest learning right now is that e-commerce is the future now. One very limited number of people on road. So logistics can help you. There are You can always set up a logistics company, or you can be a logistics service provider. That's one option. Second, if you're sitting at home and you have that calculative and mind, then the best thing is that what kind of product, as in what kind of app, what kind of a new startup, since you start, which can sell something or a product which could be a hot selling product using any other e-commerce platform. So this is the right time, students, especially management students, that revisit the concept, revisit, understand what e-commerce these guys they have been doing, referring to the famous Indian company which was started in 2007. 2008 was a financial shock. 2011 they became so big that they were selling almost anything and everything on their platform. They got funding and everything, and then a big company took over. So they started selling off with books. And I know you guys know the company I'm referring to, but I'm not here to promote a company. What I'm trying to tell you is that they thought, their goal, or they, decided that, okay, let's start selling this product, say books online. If we'll be able to sell, we'll probably add few more products. So there was no COVID or there was no lockdown at that time. They were working day and night, perhaps from their homes or even from their offices, from small setups. The same thing is happening right now, guys. You have no funding, for instance. They also had no funding initially. Then they got funding. So if you can come up with some kind of an idea, right, using developing your platform, a new platform or existing platform, but come up with a product, then why can't? So not only engineers are required, not only doctors are required, not only law professionals are required, management guys are also required. You know, if you're studying management, your future is in your own hands. You have to spend some time. You have to have that analytical mind. If you don't have, read, understand, improve your analytical skills, come back with something, you know, self-evaluate yourself, take an initiative, and develop something. So you have that option available. Now it is your call how much time you spend and whether you can or you cannot. Now, how is this so-called experiential learning effective? I have been telling you do this, do this, do this. A lot of you must be thinking that okay, yeah, we will do it, but will it be, will it actually work? Will it be effective or not? See, it depends. Now, to be effective learners, first of all, following the process of experiential learning, first of all, perceive information. As much information you can perceive, do that. Reflect on how it will impact some aspect of your life. As I already said, that it is a lot of products are required at your place, at your home, or you yourself do a lot of purchase, require a lot of things which are just lying there in your almirah or your wardrobe on your house, but you don't use that, but you buy that. So reflect on how it will impact some aspect of your life. Compare how it fits into our own experiences, and think about how this information offers new ways for us to act. Now you have self-evaluated yourself. You have to use that information also. It is not that you have the information, then you will not use it. It should reflect that you have the information ready. Now it should reflect. It should be compared. So let's take an example of siblings, brother, sister, two brothers, two sisters. Thought process is entirely different. Likes and dislikes are entirely different. So if you're at home, no need to go out. Just sit with your sibling and discuss it. Perhaps with your parents, perhaps with your neighbors. You know, but it should reflect. It should reflect, and then only you can compare. And again, go back and think twice, thrice, maybe 100 times how this information offers new ways for us. It's all experiential learning is all about the information. There with you. If it is not there, collect that. But self-evaluation is the most important. If you have taken an initiative, remember to evaluate that. How you do it, that is your call. But there are principles, there are methods, everything is available. To do something, not everything, something to reach to a level. It's not at all difficult. Fortunately, not at all difficult. And especially in the kind of scenario we are living in right now, what we are facing, that's the best thing one can do. What are the advantages of experiential learning? Very simple. Very, very simple. We don't see experiential learning as something which can help us. But once you will go through the advantages of experiential learning, you will understand that. First of all, because you're collecting data by yourself, you are doing everything by yourself. That means you are working on your critical thinking side of the brain. That let me analyze this. Yesterday I spent 20 rupees on something. Today I've spent 15 on that. Tomorrow I may not require the product. What else is required? Whether I should spend or I should not spend. So that means that if you are facing a problem, it could be a budget issue, it could be a new idea, it could be anything. So that means now, parallelly, apart from the critical thinking, you're working on your problem solving. That how to solve this problem. When you think about it, that okay, how to solve this problem, then only you will revisit and reevaluate. So evaluation is done, reevaluation should also be done. Automatically, you are polishing your problem solving skills, which is not at all. Now you have improved your critical thinking, you have improved your problem solving, then that means that you can take a decision. You are becoming mature. You're ready to face the world. Each and every situation you are going through, it's an experience. You are following the experiential learning cycle. And that means that you are reaching a decision in a more positive way, in a more calculated way. So decision making skills are getting improved. Another thing, important thing, it increases the engagement level of participants. So if, for instance, you're sitting with your parents, you're taking their inputs, with your siblings, with your friends, with your cousins, with your neighbors, or whomsoever, so that means that the communication which is happening is more productive because you are using your critical problem and decision making skills parallel. Now, when you reach a level and when you interact, then the other side, people whom you are interacting with, they also take you seriously and they say that okay, this guy is mature enough to understand that these things are required, these are not required, and he's applying basic principles of critical problem and decision making skills. So for instance, if they were not interested initially to talk to you or to discuss something with you, now they are. If they're senior to you, if they're junior to you, or if they're your parents, your family, anyone, now they are, because their engagement level has increased. They understand now that you are serious because you have applied those skills, you have improved your skills. This is how things work. This is how you venture into new areas. You start working with people with different abilities, with different way of thinking. A lot of us face this challenge. He's not my good friend. She's not my good friend. I cannot work with him. I cannot work with her. This team is not useful. They are not worthless. They are worthless. They can't do anything. Just because you don't understand somebody's contribution or his way of thinking or his contribution in the sense that the way, the kind of experience he she has, that doesn't mean that they are not useful. Once you apply experiential learning skills, you will understand empathetically, if I would put it, that you put yourself in someone else's shoes. You apply all your thought process, your thinking process, your decision making. You have a higher engagement level. That means your ability is increased. Now, when you're dealing with somebody, whether you like his or her clothes or not, immaterial. Whether you like him or not, immaterial. But whether he can contribute in achieving your goal or company's targets or your education or something, then you are good to go. Because your ability has improved, right? You're not looking person from XYZ things. You are looking at a person that because of his ability and your ability to judge and gauge his ability or her ability. So that is the best thing which experiential learning can teach you. Again, important point that once you have the ability, you have the engagement, you have the thinking and everything, then it comes that you have bridged that gap between theory and practice. Somebody could told you, somebody gossip about somebody or some book or some idea or something. You say, I don't like it. But then you bridged this gap using the experiential learning. And you realized that because you bridged this gap, The theory and practice, the kind of the inputs, as in the takeaways, you can easily gauge that. You can apply your critical thinking and you can reach a decision that, okay, this is the theory, this is the practice. In between, there are few things which are useful, which are not useful. But because you have managed to bridge the gap between theory and practice, you have reached a different level. Now, if you have reached a different level, that means earlier, if you were doing something at a speed of say 10 kilometer per hour, just saying, now you're doing it at say 20 kilometer per hour. As in, you have accelerated your learning process. Okay, now these are the skills to be applied initially. This should be the engagement level of people. This is my ability. I have gap. You have reduced this gap that these things should be done, these things should not be done. And at the end of the day, your learning process improved. It accelerated your thinking. Now that is why experiential learning helps you. Now, students, remember that there are certain limitations of experiential learning also. You cannot just, there are always advantages, advantages, and advantages. There are limitations also. What happens is, because you have not applied the principles properly, the so-called experiential learning principles, or perhaps you are not putting things in paper, doing more research and understanding and applying the critical thinking and the decision-making skills, what happens is that you do a lot of trial and error and trial error, which results in loss of focus. Sometimes you feel like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this again and again? So in order to reach a level where you want to utilize the benefits of experiential learning, you must study the basics first, understand that, and then move step by step. You should not lose your focus. That is not expected of you. Especially, we are like the youngest population on earth right now, country. We have a lot of opportunities, but if you lose your focus, then you might get lost. As in, you don't know what to do. Now, this is the right time. Again, I'm saying this COVID thing has given us an opportunity to sit, relax, read, understand, discuss, write, do whatever we want to, and develop our analytical and conceptualization and other skills using the simple experiential learning. Reading a book is again is experiential learning because somebody has written his or her experience. Outcomes of experiential learning are always not predictable. Somebody he discovered something, he developed something, he created something. The situation may differ, right? So outcomes sometimes are not always predictable, but that should not be taken as a negative point. Remember that. If the outcome is not predictable, then at least you're doing something. You have followed the process. You have experience of doing something. If the outcome is not predictable in the sense that you won't be able to, fine. For that, you have mentors, teachers, trainers. There are people who can help you. But that doesn't stop you from using the experiential learning model and not doing anything. Rather, you should do more. Perhaps, maybe, results will come, will not come. Immaterial. At least you have tried. This is again a limitation. Now, learning process again is limited to practitioner. What happens is, students, that if you're a medical student and you are taking advice and expertise of somebody whose expertise is into war strategy or something of that sort, that means you've chosen the right practitioner. Chosen the wrong practitioner. I'm sorry, you've chosen the wrong practitioner. You must understand. You must apply your skills, basic skills, because if you read and understand, you read, then you can understand that who can be your potential right practitioner, who can take you to where you want to reach, or who can help you achieving your goals. That practitioner should be chosen very carefully. You can't, as a medical student, you can't pick up an engineering guy or somebody who is a very famous engineer. You can always learn from his experiences, but because you're a medical guy, you must understand that you have your own way of working. Outcomes sometimes, as I said, is not predictable, is because sometimes you follow it is limited to the practitioner basically. And last but not the least, people with limited exposure experience dispirited. So, for instance, if you have not done anything in the sense that you're not a good reader, you're not a good writer, you don't have a hobby, or you don't do anything at all, you wake up, eat, and sleep, then obviously you feel dispirited that I won't be able to, or how to use the experiential learning model. You must understand that in order to learn from the experiential learning, you need to gauge, as in, you need to sort of learn first the basic concepts of what you are planning to do. You should have something in your hand, like as I said, that you self-initiated, then self-evaluated. Then once the self-evaluation is done, that is part of the experiential learning, that you have experienced something. As in, you have at least studied what you have read or written. So that is the most important thing. Sometimes people get dispirited because of that. Now, modern education needs to move from learning by telling model and even learning by observing to learning by doing model. We must move from passivity to activity. We must learn to extrapolate from our experiences and see how to apply what we have done to new instances. This whole phrase covers everything what we have discussed in last 45 minutes. That you know we must learn to extrapolate from our experiences and see how to apply what we have done to new instances. You can drive from Delhi to Lucknow, for instance. So you know the kind of highways, the kind of challenges, kind of good and bad things which come in between. If you're planning to drive again, or if you're trying to drive beyond that, then you have some experience. So if you're on a highway, you must understand that you have these basic things with you, basic tools with you always if you're traveling, if you're driving. So this is like you've experienced something, and now that from that experienced, you have evaluated that this was missing. I had these kind of challenges. I faced these kind of challenges, and I should not face that. There could be a new challenge, obviously, but I should not face the same old thing. We must learn to extrapolate from our experiences and see how to apply what we have done to new instances. Now, experiential learning and technology. Here, I just want to, on the lighter note, I just want to share with you something, students, that I did a session on gratitude. So that gratitude session was something related to that. You must thank people who have helped you and something of that sort. That 1 hour session, actually, I managed to sort of, convince some people that saying thank you to your parents or to your teachers or to your colleagues or to your friends is something which is really good. You must have this habit of appreciating others and thanking others. And some of the parents were literally shocked. So experiential learning is that whatever I've already referred to, that experiential learning can help you. Let me clarify this here, a small thing, that there are a lot of things which were not at all part of the experiential learning, and still it does exist, and they are doing pretty well. These are your chips which you eat regularly, your ice cream cones. Penicillin is one of the medicine that's safe. Post slips which we use on our papers, post slips, even things like microwave, it was accidentally it got developed. So there are a lot of things. It is not like that, you know but the good part or the bad part, whatever you call it, is that the people who actually developed it by even by mistake or accidentally, they were experts in their areas. So somebody used to sell chips of bigger size. He reduced the size and made it thin, and then he started selling. You all know the name, it's there available everywhere, you can always search that. But the point is that once you become expert in your area, sometimes you feel like that, okay, I have done a lot of things, but still I'm not getting any results. And what happens is that God is there, do believe in that, and sometimes accidentally also you develop a lot of things. So experiential learning is important, it is required, but there have been multiple instances where a lot of things was introduced to the whole world which are quite popular but not at all planned. So experiential learning and technology, we all use we all use internet, we all use all these things which are there on your screen. But students, let me be very frank and honest with you. You spend your half of the day on smartphones. How many of you can actually prepare a Word document on your phone? How many of you can actually prepare an Excel sheet? How many of you can actually apply a formula on an Excel sheet on your phone? How many of you can make a presentation on your phone? See, this is the time, the right time to polish your skills, to learn something new, to understand the use and importance of technology in your life. You have everything, but you are using hardly 5% of that. With the kind of incidents which we are facing for working professionals, or once you will start working for an organization, if you are traveling and you are asked to prepare a presentation, can you do that on your phone? You have your smartphone in your hand, or you will have to open your laptop, or you have to go back home to open your PC, and then only you can do that. All these things are available. It's a very small example I'm giving you. There are a lot of people who doesn't even know, still, who doesn't even know how to order products on, you know, websites like Amazon, Flipkart. They're scared that if they use their credit card, you know, uh, they'll take all the money from there. A lot of people use WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, but how many of you have actually used it professionally? Have you been able to sell any of your skill? Have you been able to introduce to the world that what all qualities you have? Has anyone approached you saying that, okay, you have this quality, I'm ready to pay you for this thing? Can you do this work for us? Like, as I was telling you in the beginning, that a lot of people started posting, their sketch. I never realized that out of the friend list that I have, 20 people are like really good artists, like MF Hussain types. They can make great sketch. But now that I've realized, I've asked them to prepare a sketch for me and I'm ready to pay for that. Strange, but it's true. Experiential learning and technology, if you can blend that, guys, students, if you can blend this technology and experiential learning, I can bet on this that India is, next 5-10 years will be like number one in the world. Unfortunately, we, see a lot of things, but we don't execute it. We don't take the initiative, or we don't evaluate it. It's a very, very simple things. Using MS Office on your phone is way too difficult. A lot of people, they have, I've asked this question to hundreds of my friends and, colleagues and students. A lot of them don't even know how to use it. On the PC, yes, they can prepare an excellent presentation, but using those skills on their phones, they're not. When you spend half of your day on their smartphones. Just one example I've shared here. This is my dream, and I want you guys to make this your dream, that India post COVID-19 should be the fastest growing economy, because we have the youngest workforce, because scientifically we are ahead, technologically we are ahead. Our workforce, you guys should upgrade yourself, reach a level. MS Office, like one example I gave. We will be more organized. Yes, we will be more organized. We will understand the value of hygiene. We will understand the value of what to keep, what not to keep, what to buy, what not to buy. Will understand the value of working from home. We will understand the value of working while sitting in the car, while traveling. We will be more organized. We will start planning. The people who are really visionaries will perform. People who will see next 5 years today, that okay, next 5 years will be like this, and I can survive, they'll be the successful. A new startup culture will evolve. Unfortunately, most of the startups, if you can see, they are on the verge of bankruptcy. Because they were busy increasing their valuation rather giving something new to the world. They were doing well because they were getting funding. Now they're not getting any funding. I've given very major examples, kind of discoveries and inventions. I really want you guys to focus on discoveries and inventions rather than becoming a money minting machine. Your startup, your company could be something which can help people. As a lawyer, you can help people patent their products. As a management student, you can help, either you develop your own strategy or help people who are not at all visible to the world to see what India can do. The artisans, for example, job opportunities will many. Manufacturing, yes, everyone is aware about, that the kind of job losses we are expecting, but this is a golden opportunity that a lot of companies or even Indians will set up their manufacturing facilities in India. Rather than importing, we're doing by ourselves. And we have people, that is for sure. Like people, if you are looking at, teaching or training, then you can help them, you can train them, you can give them a skill. You can give them food right now, if possible, but at least you parallelly give them a skill. If you give them a skill, they can earn their bread and butter by themselves. Remember this, guys, hobbies will become careers now. This is my dream, I'm saying. Your hobbies will become your careers now. If you have a passion of, say, reading, writing, or whatever, these are the 3, 4, 6 months you have. If you can do that, and I'm sure people will start living larger than life. You know, they'll now that you have seen this from your eyes, you've experienced this, that a situation will come in future where you might have to stay in home for 3 to 6 months or a year or whatever, then you must live a larger than life. You must think beyond your capacity. You can spend hours working. You must spend time with your family. You must spend good quality time with your friends. You should not waste time. Please remember that. You should put your time into more productive activities, which can help you grow, which can help you polish yourself, which can help you increase your skills, which can help you, you know, say simply put it, become famous. So this opportunity, the real startups, the people who will start right now, the real startup culture will begin now. Last but not the least, the most important, in the midst of every crisis lies great opportunity. The greatest opportunity is just in front of you. If you can understand that, then you are good to go. You will be a leader, you will be a future leader. You will be something, a great scientist, a great mathematician, a great psychiatrist, a great doctor, a great management guy, a great poet, a great artist, or whatever you want to become. In the midst of every crisis lies great opportunity, as very well said by Mr. Albert Einstein. With this, students, I would like to thank you. I would like to thank the Amity University for giving me the opportunity. Please, we can connect on LinkedIn. You can always find Dr. Himanshu Talwar on LinkedIn. My articles are posted there. I have contributed chapters in management and legal books. Apart from that, I have recently published my first fiction by the name of Journey of a Lost Soul, and it's available on Kindle. You may have a look at it. I wish you all good luck. Be safe, be happy, stay home. Thank you so very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Himanshu. It was really an enlightening lecture, a new way of learning and bridging the gap between theory and practice. And definitely post COVID, India will be having a new, it will be a new India with a lot of innovations. We have the best brains throughout the world. So we are also joined in the panel by Group Captain Kapil Shukla sir. He's director outcome for all the Amity University, and I would like sir to also uh, give his say his thoughts, share his thoughts with all of us. So, sir, if you can unmute yourself and share your thoughts. Yeah, yes, sir. Sir, if you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah, yes, sir. Now you're audible, sir. Yes, sir.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, you
yes,
are.
sir.
Please.
Thank you, Dr. Talwar. It was a very interesting lecture. You covered a lot of interesting topics. Your slides were very nice. And about 72 of our students were online to listen to you. And I think they will, the takeaway that they will have from this lecture would be very nice. Also, you spoke about outcome. That is something which I look after, amongst other things. And I'm looking forward to reading your book, Journey of a Lost Soul. I'll try and read it on Kindle. Thank you so much. I hope and pray that you will be again with us during this period and even later on. And thank you, Dr. Harsha, for arranging this lecture. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you, Dr. Himanshu. Thank you to all the participants, and I request you all now. You can all leave the meeting, and everyone can be in touch with Dr. Himanshu through LinkedIn. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Himanshu. Bye. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.